When setting up employees, within the back office, go into Employees, Set Up Employees. Within here, this is where we put in all the information pertaining to the staff that reside within the system. The first thing we have here is employee name and followed by last name. So obviously this is the first name of the employee and their last name. The next field down is POS name. Now this is the field that will show up on the guest check, identifying who the server was, for example. So it's important that you keep this in mind when you're putting in a person's name, because you may not want to have their entire first and last name in there in the event there's any kind of problem with a customer. The next field we have here is invisible to POS functions. Now this is for people who you do not want to have included within the employee scheduling, such as the technician who takes care of the point of sale system. They may need to be added in here to be able to troubleshoot items on the POS system. Or another may be the owner of the establishment. He will not be tending bar on a Friday night, but they need to be in the system. So things of that nature, that's where you would select invisible to POS functions. Next we have the address information as far as street, city, province or state, postal or zip code, SIN, this is social insurance number, also referred to as social security number, and so you would have this in there as well. Home phone, business phone, cell phone. Along with this, the employee's email address and their birth date as well. When you enter in the birth date, it will calculate out their age for you. This next field down, training mode. If an employee is in training mode, basically they can go into a check and they can order items. Nothing will print out at any of the printers, and also it will not affect your sales for the day. There's actually a separate field for that called training totals, and all of their information as far as the numbers that they've accumulated and so on while they're doing their training will show up within there. Off to the right we have start date. And so within this, it will default to the date of creation for this record, but you can set that otherwise. End date. If the employee was terminated, then you set this. Revenue center. If you are working with multiple revenue centers, then you can actually apply this person to any given revenue center. Swipe number. Now within this, you select on Assign Card to populate this field. And in doing that, upon selecting this, you would now take their employee card, swipe it through the reader, and it will populate that field. Or you can select on Manual Enter to use a manual entry number. Reference number is just a general reporting field. The next area down here is job position setup. So this is where you assign the employee to a job position. Now selecting on this field, you can actually choose from any of the established job positions that reside on the system. Along with that, you can put in their rate of pay per hour. If they are working with multiple job positions, so for example, today I'm the chef, tomorrow I'm a bartender, then you can actually add in additional ones by selecting on job position. But with that being said, you can identify which one is the primary or the most common one, the default job position. In the event that they are a salary employee, you can put in their yearly salary rather than populate the rate of pay per hour. Underneath that we have picture. Some employee cards may include a picture, so within this you can populate it with a picture of the employee along with some information. And schedule. As management, you would sit down with the employee and go through with them in terms of what is their preferred schedule. And so within this you can identify when they do not want to work, when they do want to work, and when they simply cannot work. Along with this, you have hours preferred, which means within any given week, how many hours does this employee prefer to work? Are they full-time, part-time, that kind of thing. And along with that as well, you can identify a skill level for them. So for example, if you're working with waiters and waitresses, you can balance out the skill set of each shift so that you've got experienced people with non-experienced people to help kind of balance all that out. This information will be brought across to the employee schedule program. The next tab over is Advanced. On Advanced, first of all we have System Interface. Now this is what shows up within the Your Settings section, and you identify, for example, what this person does on the system. If it's restaurant seating, they will default to the table layout screen. If it's quick order, they may come up with just a blank check on the screen, such as bartenders and fast food servers. Host, hostess. This has to do with the table management and reservations section. Driver. This is identifying that this person is a delivery driver. So when they log in, they will get the driver's screen. Delivery mode. If they are set as a delivery mode, then when they sign in, they will get the delivery order taker screen. And clock in and out only. This is for staff who do not use the POS beyond time and attendance, in which case then they will just be able to clock in and clock out and not much else. This section here, web authorization, has to do with web scheduling. You may recall within the system setup there's a section in there for emailing staff pertaining to their schedules. PixelPoint has this capability, and this is where you set up their web access to be able to get that information pertaining to their schedule. Reference number is just a general reference number for reporting purposes. Shift rules. This is one of the areas where you can apply shift rules specific to a person. So for example, when you're setting up your shift rules pertaining to when breaks are taken, when overtime is calculated, and so on, you can set that either globally for everyone on the system, you can set it for everyone within a job position, or you can set it for individual employees. And this is where you identify it for an individual employee. Disregard employee shift hours. This is for till management. Now, a till is basically like a cash drawer insert, and you assign that insert to an employee record. Now, when you assign the till to a station, then basically all the sales will be attributed to that till, and any users on that station will share responsibility for that till. Now, the whole point of disregard employee shift hours is that if this was an employee till that I was programming into the system, I would select on this to disregard employee shift hours so that when a cash out is done on that till, then hours will not be accumulated and reported within the system on that till employee, just on the regular employees who actually use that till. Manager on duty. This is one of the reporting systems within shift rules, so that if you are designated as a manager on duty, then the system will actually flag you in terms of telling you who is coming up on breaks, who is due for breaks, who is due to come back from their breaks, and so on. Employee HR, this is human resources information. And so within here, for example, we have personal, being personal information on that individual in terms of their gender, marital status, their hiring status, and ethnic background. Driver's license. This is important for employees who may be delivery drivers, for example. And in here you can put in their driver's license number and the expiry date. Alien card. This is when you are employing people who are immigrants working on work visas, for example, within your establishment. And so within this, you can put in as far as their visa number and also the expiry date as well. And finally, you have notes, and the notes information is going to be retained in the system only, not visible to anyone else, but this window will also show up when you bring up the picture of the employee as well.